Hey, this is Double R. And I wanted to tell you that Anchor by Spotify is a great and easy way to make a podcast with everything you need and all in one place. Anchor has the tools to allow you to record, edit your podcast straight from your phone or your computer. When hosting with Anchor, you can distribute your podcast to all listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Best of all, it's totally free. So go down the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. This is the Let's Roll podcast with your host, Double R. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Double R, the host that rose the most, and this is the Let's Roll podcast. Today's episode is self-serve. I want to talk about everything becoming self-serve in this world. Gas stations, shopping, and much more. And we're going to do all of that right after this. This world is going to become self-serve or automated more and more every day. But I want to talk about how that affects people with disabilities, the elderly, people that just need help, period, when it goes to giving gas or shopping or just in general checking out. The problems that I run into with my disability and doing self-checkout or, gas, stuff like that, is that I can't always either reach it, mainly because I can't reach it. And even going to the store to like grocery shop or just shopping, period, and I will say mainly grocery shopping. And I get it. We can all do it online. We can have it delivered, and that is a godsend. And I do enjoy the fact that I don't necessarily have to go to the grocery store to shop and get my groceries. But that being said, there are times that I still want to go to the store. I still want to, be able to get out of the house and shop and whatever. And so the problem I run into if I go to the store to go grocery shopping is, one, I have a hard time pushing a shopping cart. Two, I have a hard time reaching certain items. And it always seems like to me that, when I need help, there's nobody around. And when I don't need help, there's plenty of people around that are asking me. But when it comes to self-serve or self-checkout, for me, I don't like it because if I can't reach things to get them in the first place, then even if I could reach them and I go to check out, then I'm going to have a hard time picking these things up, scanning them, putting them back and putting them back in whatever cart or whatever deal I'm doing. So to me, self-checkout works for some, but it doesn't work for all. And if stores are going to go to this kind of platform, then they do need to realize that there are some people out there that just can't do it, that it doesn't work for them. It's a hindrance for them to try to check out and do things because of their disability or whatever reason. So if a store decided to go self-serve fully, I think that's a mistake. Unless you're still going to keep the people on, employees on, to take the positions of being able to help people like myself or the elderly, or just help them check out anyway, even if it is self-checkout. So self-checkout is great in one way, but it's bad in another. And I get it. I can understand the argument. The argument is, well, Rusty, you have the ability to go on to almost any store and have it delivered. True. And I don't disagree with that. I mean, it's getting to where I almost don't have to leave the house. And on one hand, that's a good thing, but on the other hand, it's a bad thing because it makes less people getting out in the world and experiencing the world. For some people, it might be a great idea, and for others, it's not. I remember when I first started driving and having the not the ability to always pump my own gas because of how high the gas pumps were. And I was in a chair that didn't raise up. I mean, I'm in a chair now that could raise up. So that's not really the big issue for me now. But early on, I couldn't always, it depended on the gas station. And then at one time, and I still think the law exists, but the problem with the law is this. So the law is this. If I go to a gas station, now it used to be like this. If I go into a gas station that had full service, now for all you young people out there, full service used to be that you would pull up and a little bell would go off and somebody would come running out and they would pump your gas, wash your windshield. You could even have them check your oil and all that. I mean, check the level on your oil and whatever. If they had full service at the station, then I could pull up to the self-serve pumps and they would, by law, have to come out and pump my gas like full service. Because full service used to cost a little bit more than self-serve. Okay? So the law stated that I didn't have to go to full service to help get my gas pumped and pay those prices. So they wanted to make it affordable, one, and two, I still get help on self-serve. That was great. Now the law is a little bit different because there are hardly, if I know of any full-service gas stations anymore. So they're all pretty much self-serve. I mean, hell, you don't even have to go into the convenient part of it because you can pay at the pump. But the law now, I believe, states that as long as there's two people working inside the convenient part store, by law, one of them has to come out to help pump my gas. The problem with that is there's no way to let them know that I'm outside unless it's, like there's a gas station or the Murphy station or whatever you want to call it that's connected to Walmart. There was one where I could pull up right next to the little booth that they would be in, and I could wave to them, and they would know who I am and know that I was disabled, and they'd come out immediately and pump gas. But that's just that one station. I used to have a couple of gas stations like that knew who I was, recognized my car when I pulled up, and they would come out. But that doesn't just work everywhere. So when companies are talking about making everything self-serve or automated or, changing the way people do things in a store, one, I know it's a cost-effective thing. It's like the less people that we have to hire, the less of the bottom line that we have. But the argument could always be this. Your machines are not always going to be working correctly. There are some people that can't use them physically. So you have to have people in the store that not only, because what if your self-serves just go down? Like just the self-serve part goes down. Then you have to have a way to check people out. So the thought of that's going to eliminate a lot of jobs is it's true in one way and not true in the other, because you're still going to have a way to be able to, check people out if your system fails situation. I mean, granted, I guess if the self-serve goes down, pretty much all your registers go down. But again, you still got to have people there. So I don't think it's going to eliminate human contact, because you're still going to have people there to manage it, keep an eye on it. I would like to know, and I don't know if there's a way to find this out, but I would like to know the numbers of theft when it comes to just regular checkout and self-checkout. Like, is theft higher when it comes to that? How many people have they caught self-checkout stealing versus people they've caught not self-checkout? So it's just a curious number I'd like to know. So with that being said, I think self-serve or self-checkout is good on one hand, but it's bad on another, as long as you are acknowledging all the pros and cons of it and addressing some of the cons and turning those into pros. Because what I would like to see, and I haven't really ran into this problem very often, but I would like to be able to go into Walmart and go up to a manager or, CSM or something like that and go, hey, I need to do some grocery shopping. Do you have somebody that can with me to help me reach things and put things in the basket? And I would like to see more people like that are on hand, that are able to do it with no problem, no matter how long I take to shop or whatever. because it does help people with disabilities be more independent. And I am going to do an episode about when to ask for help and when not to ask for help. Or when, not so much when I need to ask for help, but somebody asking me if they can help me or not. But I think if that could happen, the other thing that goes along with shopping and not necessarily self-serve, but some stores are just not accessible or wheelchair friendly. My prime example is most of the GameStops that I go to. Those stores are so small, shoved, packed with merchandise everywhere that a wheelchair has a very hard time going through that store to look around. And I joke all the time going into this one GameStop I go to all the time. Like, I have a very hard time going back to the section I want to go to because of all the stuff in the way. And I would joke with them going, man, I'm going to wreck this place. I'm just going to tear this place all up. And not on purpose, just that it's just the way that they lay their stores out. So I wish that more people would take that in consideration. Like, make it where it's more accessible. Make it a better experience for someone that is disabled, to be able to get around your store and shop. You know, we have money too, and we're willing to spend it, but can't really spend it if I can't get into your store to see what I want to get. Gas stations are not going to really change very much, and I wish they would design it to where the pumps are not like a step up or a curb up, but they were level with the ground itself. It makes it a little bit easier for someone in a wheelchair or disabled that can reach it and do their things. I also think one thing they could do, and this is going back to the gas station when it had full service, where they had the little thing that you ran over and it would ring a bell or make a noise. They could make self-service, like certain lanes or pumps, as disabled pumps. And what I mean by that is they could have it to where when you pulled your car up to it, you would run over or cross an eye, like an eye or whatever, that lets them know inside this is a disabled vehicle. And they could even have like a speaker outside. They could say, hey, are you disabled? And you could say yes or no. And if you said yes, then they would come out and help you pump your gas. I think that is a way to make it more accessible for disabled people. My problem is this. I don't have a problem really giving out and doing my own gas. I have a problem just giving out. Just the process that I have to personally go through to get out of the driver's seat, into my wheelchair, and out of my car. To me, it's just a pain to do that. Doesn't mean I won't do it. Doesn't mean I can't do it. It makes it way easier. Somebody can come out that can physically reach everything, can see everything, and pump my gas for me. And if I knew that, hey, the last pump on the end, or, maybe both pumps on either end of the gas station are set up for them to be signal inside that I'm disabled or possibly disabled, and they can, sit, on the speakers, ask me if I need help or just automatically come out just to check, hey, do you need help? That would be great. That would make gas stations way better. So we just got to understand that being handicapped, being disabled, being elderly, the world is not totally fit for us. We just came off of July, and that was Disabled Pride Month, or Disability Pride, or something like that. I forget what it's exactly called. But it was when the ADA law was put into effect to help make the world more accessible for us. I get it that not everything can be accessible. And I don't want to be a person like, oh, you have to make it accessible for me. Like I demand it. I demand it on one hand, but I don't on another, because I understand there are just certain things in this world that can't be accessible, and okay with that. But some things could be definitely adapted or made more accessible. But that's what I wanted to say. I thought about this the other day, and I was like, I'd make a good episode to talk about the struggles of having things self-serve or self-checkout, and how I struggle. Like, it's funny because I go to self-checkout, and then I have to turn around and look at somebody look at some store employee that's standing there and go, well, can you help me check out? Like, self-checkout is not really working for me. Yes, it makes it to where I don't have to stand in line necessarily. It's a quick way to check out most of the time, but I still got to have somebody help me. So anyway, the struggles in the world today. With that being said, thank you for coming out, checking me out. Please help support the podcast. And as always, until next time, let's roll.
Hey, this is Paula, and you're listening to the Let's Roll podcast with host Double R. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media. Find links in the description below or at theletsrollpodcast.com.